Hi everyone, welcome back to Bake and Bloom. Today's video is a little different. It's my very first time trying to bake croissants. I know it's crazy. Now croissants are not easy. They require laminating butter, lots of resting time and patience. And since this was my first attempt, of course, I made some mistakes, but I want to share the whole process with you because baking isn't just about perfect results, it's about learning. So let's see how it went. At this stage, the dough looked fine, but I noticed it was a little drier compared to other doughs I've worked with, and honestly, I was extremely angry. where things started to get tricky. When I rolled out the dough with the butter inside, my butter started getting too soft. That's mistake number one. Your butter and dough need to stay cold always. At some point, the butter even came out from the edges. I tried to save it by chilling it in the freezer, but it still wasn't perfect. I shape them, brush with egg wash, and bake. And honestly, the outside looked amazing, golden and crispy as the usual croissant, just like, the ones that you eat outside. But inside, as you can see, no beautiful honeycomb layers. Instead, it's actually more like bread. And this happened because my lamination wasn't successful. The butter melted too much and blended with the dough instead of forming separate layers. So, what did I learn? First, keep everything cold: butter, dough, even your rolling pin if possible. Number 2, don't rush the resting time in the fridge. And number 3, next time I'll use a little more flour when rolling to avoid sticking. Even though they weren't perfect, I'm still happy I tried. Baking croissants is a real challenge, but the only way to get better is to practice. If you've ever thought about making croissants, don't be afraid of mistakes. They're part of the journey. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you've ever tried croissants yourself.